Hey guys, hope you're having a great day. Come on in here. I thought I'd give you an update about this big winter storm that's going through the northern and midwestern United States. And I also wanted to talk about something peculiar that's happening on this wave that could affect parts of the Midwest that nobody is really talking about yet. So that's what we're going to talk about. I'm going to show you the upper levels, then we're going to go day by day. And before we begin, click the subscribe button if you're new and you like daily forecast updates. We go much more in depth than you'd see on those TV channels. We talk about the science, the weather, all that type of stuff on this channel. So let's get right into it here. So what we're looking at here is the 500 millibar vorticity. This is a really good tool at looking at our energy in the atmosphere to support these storm systems and to look at kind of the broad scale pattern. Now, obviously values higher up here in the color areas, the farther you go up, you're getting more vorticity in the atmosphere essentially. And we're looking at cyclonic vorticity. Now, this little area right here is where our storm system's at. That's ejecting out into the plains from about Saturday into next Tuesday or Wednesday. And right now it's over in the plains. And this is where the energy's at. You can see lots of that energy crossing those height lines. And that's really supportive of a good, strong, low pressure system. Especially when it's closed off like that. You can see it really get cranking as we head towards about Sunday at 1 a.m. Here's the center. This is in the upper levels. Now the low pressure system at the surface might be a little bit to the northeast where you see the divergence. It's a little bit different at the surface, but nonetheless, you see the energy punch into the plains. But look at this area back here. I want to keep your eye on this area right here. Okay, so the main storm system is going to track kind of up here, and your main snow is going to be north, particularly in this area right here. Okay, but what happens is, look at this energy eject into the plains as we head towards about Sunday at 1 p.m. This energy is kind of coming through. You can see this little wave right here. And watch what happens as it gets into the Midwest as we head towards Monday. So this is Monday now, and boom, right there. You see that energy kind of sweeps in. So that first low pressure system kind of fizzles out a bit. You can see right here. It doesn't really fizzle, but it doesn't really grow a whole lot more. But the second wave comes through and kind of hits the Great Lakes region. And that's going to raise the potential for redevelopment out near the Great Lakes or just north and east into Canada. If that happens a little bit sooner, that's really going to put Michigan, Wisconsin, and Illinois under the gun. At the moment, it looks like the Great Lakes into the northern parts of Michigan and Wisconsin could be under the gun with maybe 2 rounds here. So we're watching a potential for a second round as we head towards Monday and maybe even into Tuesday as the system as these systems die out, they kind of spiral out and kind of slow down. And so you'll get some bonus snow that continues to wrap around behind it, which you'll see here in a second. So that goes into about Tuesday, and we'll look at the precipitation now. And what we're going to do is we're going to go over to the NAM computer model, look at a little bit of higher resolution here, and I'll kind of show you this day by day here. So you're looking at your rain and snow and thickness lines here, and this is going to be Saturday at 7 p.m. here, and here's your low pressure system. This is the first initial wave. Your front's going to be down here where those isobars kind of cross together. You see a kink there? That's indicating a potential front right there. And you can see your thickness lines are kind of your average temperature in your atmosphere columns. And so, when you get a gradient like this, it's warmer down here and it's cooler up there. And you can kind of see it follows along that front. So very decent cold front here in the plains. Could get some rain and thunderstorms out ahead of it. Maybe an isolated severe storm or two, but nothing terribly crazy. You can see a nice low there. And your rain to snow line is going to be way north here into the northern plains, out into parts of the high plains into Colorado as well. This is around Saturday at 7 p.m. So things are really going to start getting going Saturday afternoon and evening. You can see another wave kind of blows up along the front. So this storm is going to have multiple waves associated with it. Another little wave that blows up along the storms. And then way north of there is your rain to snow line, so plenty of snow. But again, it's going to be confined in the northern plains for the most part. And you can see right in between here, this is called a dry slot. There's a mid-level around the 700 millibar mark. A lot of dry air will get funneled into these systems. And typically, if you're in the path of this dry slot, your snow and rain is going to be very short-lived. You might get a lot of rain, but the snow, if you do get it to the north of here, it'll be very short-lived, maybe a couple hours. Then it'll transition maybe even back to rain and then stop. and then sometimes you get some wraparound snow on the backside. But that will lower the totals for this area, especially up here for snowfall. But this is Sunday now at early in the morning, and then as we get towards Sunday evening, you can see this kind of starts to weaken now. So when the low pressure systems, they'll move to the northeast, then they'll kind of back around and move to the northwest. And when they do that, usually becoming baroclinic, and they'll kind of match up with the upper level heights, and usually just means they're kind of weakening. And so the snow will kind of spread out, the storm will spread out. So it's kind of like a tornado or like a spiral. And as it spreads out, it kind of spreads out its energy, kind of loses its intensity. But you'll still get some decent widespread snow in the northern plains, maybe into southern Canada. Nice little cold front out ahead of it. This is around Sunday afternoon. You can see Sunday evening, this thing really starts spreading out. So this is really baroclinic. I mean, your front's all the way down here. Big time occlusion elsewhere. And yeah, really, really baroclinic. And you really just see a big, nice arc of snow. Really not going to be terribly strong at this point. It's going to be mostly light with this type of look. A little bit of ice out ahead of it to the east, but really the Dakotas into the Minnesota area seeing the main brunt of this. Now, what's happening here, you see the NAM's actually picking this up too, is around Monday you see another low pressure system develop. We're going to go back real quick. There's your first low, that weakens, but this is the area I've been watching. Down here, what will happen sometimes is you'll get another redevelopment. Here it is right here. So, imagine your cold front, your old low pressure system up there, it occludes, so that means your warm front and your cold front, they're kind of zipping up, so it kind of zips down the front, and then you'll get another low pressure that develops to the southeast or southwest, and that's happening right here. And as this moves north, if we can get enough cold air, you might get some snow in the Midwest. So this we're going towards Monday here, and you can see that punch right there as we head towards Monday around a little after lunch, or a little before lunch and after, and you can see this low pressure system now, brand new one out here, right centered over Michigan, and it's delivering a nice blow for parts of Wisconsin. And then also some weakening snow showers out here, leftover snow in the northern plains towards Minnesota and the eastern Dakotas. But this is the thing we want to watch. If this happens any sooner, and if it draws any colder air down, this would put Michigan, Illinois, southern Wisconsin, and Iowa under the gun. So we're going to have to watch this. But right now it looks like, the model's been pretty consistent at keeping this up in the far northern parts of the United States, especially Wisconsin and maybe far northern parts of Michigan on the day on Monday here. This is Monday around 1 p.m. and you can see it's just pounding and snowing. And the same thing's happening again, where that low moves to the northeast, then it weakens, moves to the northwest, then the snow starts spreading out. So that's going to give you another chance of snow on the day on Tuesday in parts of Minnesota and Wisconsin with this cyclical look we see right here. And that even actually gets towards parts of the northern parts of Illinois. Now, this is the farthest the NAM goes out, but usually there's not a whole lot more of activity after you see this type of look, except you'd have to go all the way down here, and there's another new low pressure system developing. But again, that's going to be really far south and east. But the second wave is definitely something to watch, and that would put this area under the gun. The track will change with this, so we're going to have to definitely watch this. Actually even gives parts of the far northeastern United States a little bit of a wave of snow as well on the day Monday into Tuesday. So some mixed icy precipitation out there and snow potentially with that second wave. Now, this particular area I would say is a lot less likely to get it. This area over here is much more likely to get it, typically where your traditional snow, your best lift for snow sets up, and your coldest air will be hanging out there. But we'll have to watch this area to see if that area can get some action as well. But most likely area going to be out here for the round 2 with the same system, really the same upper level. It's a different low pressure system, but it's the same general trough moving in. So kind of a cool feature there. Now, how much snow are we talking? Well, let's look at snow ratio or snowfall amounts here. And generally speaking, what we'll do is we'll zoom into the northern United States and look at the NAM computer model. And as we get towards the day here on Monday, this is that first low pressure system that moves through. You can see that second one that blows up snow out here. We'll go over in that area in a second. But generally speaking, you're dealing with a good 3 to 6 inches for most of the northern plains. particularly in the eastern Dakotas, where you could see as much as 6 to 12 inches, some areas receiving 18 inches of snow. Now, models will typically overestimate, but they've been doing pretty good this year. So, even a couple areas could see more than that. You can see the parts of the Dakotas clocking in with a little bit more snow as well. This is a very large storm system, pretty impressive for the northern plains. Like I said, I've been talking about it for a couple of weeks now here on the channel. Haven't been talking about really anything else except this one, because there has been a lot of signals that I've seen in the upper levels that would support this for a while here relative to other storms. Now, let's go to the Midwest, and we'll look at the Northeast as well. And, the NAM computer model, you can see that second storm that moves through. It's painting out a good 6 to 12 inches here in parts of Minnesota and Wisconsin and even Michigan. And this is the farthest the run goes out, so it probably is even spitting out a couple more inches on top of that. So this is something that's going to definitely need to be watched here in this region for a second wave. Now, if that second wave doesn't develop, obviously that would keep the snow from this, I'll draw that line again, from about here and points to the northeast where you see the snow. This area is the second wave that moves through. So if you live in Wisconsin, particularly eastern Wisconsin and Michigan, and even Indiana and Illinois, your best, maybe even Ohio, your best bet is going to be with that second wave. The first wave will stay to your northwest. Now, the models will have trouble sometimes with these second little waves that develop, so we'll have to make some more videos if I see anything change. But right now, this is looking pretty good for Wisconsin with this second wave here. Look at the northeastern United States as well. And because it was a little bit later, I'm going to look at the GFS, because the northeastern United States, it does take a while for it to get out there. And we'll go out to the northeastern United States and kind of see. GFS was kind of similar to the NAM. And Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and you can see it does lay out a little bit of back-end snow. A few inches, especially if you live towards the lakes. And actually, with that first wave, it does spit out some snow for parts of the northeastern United States. Bullseye here up in Maine. Look at that, 15 inches or so, like 19 inches. That's going to change. That particular look, you see that kind of look right there, where it's kind of sharp and jaggedy, especially on the GFS, that kind of can indicate some error in the model, or where it's going to change quite a bit. I just do not 100% trust that quite yet. But if that does show up on the high-resolution radars, and we do see some mesoscale banding set up there, it will be interesting to watch. Look at the NAM real quick. But, the northeastern United States, that's going to be a little bit harder to predict. NAM does kind of show that little band move through, but you can see it's a lot less. But that second wave that moves through probably would lay out another few inches. So the northeastern United States could actually get impacted by this thing, with snow on the northeast side, north of the warm front. So you'll get a little wave of precipitation northeast of the warm front. And typically with those types of waves, they're not as strong. Okay, when you get snow on the northeast side of the warm front, you typically don't get as much. But with this setup, with two punches potentially, you could get a few good inches up here in the northeastern United States. We'll have to watch that through the day on Tuesday and Wednesday with that second wave. So that's just looking at the general pattern with this storm. Severe weather, we can look at that real quick. The best bet right now, everything is in place except probably instability. So we'll go to severe weather here, and we'll look at instability. That's going to be the big thing that determines whether there's going to be severe weather or not. Everything else really, I'm sure, is in place with that upper level pattern that we saw. But you really can see that the instability is lacking, except for the day on Sunday here. Maybe a couple of isolated severe storms in Texas, Oklahoma, and Kansas. It's really not a whole lot of instability, though, about 300 to 500 Cape. So only isolated marginal severe weather is possible. But still, for this time of year, that's pretty impressive. As we get towards the day on Sunday into Monday, isolated severe storms, maybe isolated thunderstorms, as far north as Illinois and parts of Indiana, all the way south to the Gulf on the day on Sunday around 7 p.m. or so. And then as we head towards Monday afternoon, maybe even the eastern Carolinas. So that's going to be your best bet for thunderstorms and maybe an isolated severe storm, 2 each day in the highest areas of instability. So that is going to wrap up the quick update. Again, click subscribe below if you like these in-depth forecast breakdowns. Share this with a friend. Hope you enjoyed this video. Smash that thumbs up button. We'll see you soon.